Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me here today as we get to talk about one of my favorite subjects, comic books. My name is Jose. I love comic books. I love talking about them, and I love sharing them with you. Feel free to follow me on social media if you would like. Links are in the description below. I also posted a link to the Marvel fan site that have plot synopsis and character bios for this issue. Real quick, I really do like the coloring here. The purple, the light purple with the dark purple. And so we're going to introduce a new character here. We're looking today at X Factor number 29 from 1988. Beautiful cover here by Simonson. Watch out, world. Are you ready for Infectia and the antibodies? So I remember getting this off the shelf. Just the energy of the X books. The X books were at their highest. These were the two best sellers. Um, it was X Factor and X Men and or Uncanny X Men, and that was overselling everything. Eventually, Todd McFarlane was starting around this period. So was Jim Lee. And Jim Lee, I believe, during this time was doing the Punisher War Journal. Todd McFarlane, I believe, was starting Amazing Spider-Man and possibly at the tail end of the Hulk. So things were getting very interesting at the House of Idea. And so here we go. Like I said, beautiful cover, sexy girl, these monsters behind her. All right. And so Fame is the title of our story, and Infectia is yelling no. And this guy's like, "You made me a mutant, didn't you?" And she goes, "No, you're not a mutant. I explained that to you. You weren't born with the powers. I forced it. I altered it for you." We've got Louise Simonson as a writer, Walter Simonson as a penciler, and Bob Wiacek as our inker. Harris and DeFalco continue the editorial here. You can see very well drawn here. And the guy's like, "I know that, Infectia, but you said except for that I'd be like a mutant, and I was only doing what mutants do." And she goes, so we gotta go up and down here. And she says, "I told you to wait, not to squander the power I gave you till I gave the word." And suddenly you can see that he's like about to fizzle out. "Do you think giving people powers takes no thought, no effort at all?" And then, boom, he disappears, and you can see it crash. "And now just look at you, a waste of a perfectly good designer jeans with a G here." And she turns around as everything kind of crashes around her. And so, picking up the dust here. "Honestly, I did tell you it wouldn't last forever, Harold. I just didn't tell you that you wouldn't. Darn, now I'll have to go to all the trouble of making another one. Why does everybody always do whatever they want? Why doesn't anybody ever think of me?" Yeah. And so we got the X Factor ship. I can't, this is so comic books. Like, I can't believe that they would, like, this would be a pain in the ass. They would have asked him to move. There's no way they would have kept that ship there. And so, for some reason, the way I remember it, I thought the ship was upright, like a building. But here we go here. So if you remember, this is Apocalypse's ship, and now it's X Factor's headquarters, and the ship is alive. It has an artificial intelligence, an AI that has just become free, for lack of a better word. Apocalypse had the ship basically enslaved, and X Factor has released it after they were able to deactivate the bomb that was in there. I do have a playlist which started from the very beginning. Feel free to check that out. I have every issue in a reading order ready to go. I also have an X Men playlist, Wolverine, New Mutants, I have an X universe where I still put everything in there. Again, all in reading order. So even if it just comes through, I still put it where it should go. And so um we see a crowd of people here in this that they're all talking. And so a few days ago, your ship came to life, began fighting you. A bomb in its hull nearly destroyed the city. And so here are the people gathered. What guarantees can you give our readers that something like that won't happen again? Another one, is it true that the city has threatened a suit for damages? And another one here, how do you answer people who suggest that X Factor means well, but that you mutants have caused more harm than good? And Iceman says, why? We tell them that you can't blame X Factor for the actions of a few evil mutants. Just like none of you law abiding reporters would want to be held responsible for the actions of a mad serial subway sniper. X Factor's mission is to reflect the brotherhood of man and protect both humans and mutants from harm, whatever the source. And here's Cyclops brooding. He looks perfect. And here you can see some creak and splash. That's pretty cool here. If protection is your game, why have insurance rates shot sky high all over the city? My sources say they will continue to rise as long as that ship remains here. And so suddenly the pier goes down, everybody falls and screams, and look at this, Cyclops leader. Oh, sorry, Cyclops did it, and so he's basically destroying so it doesn't ruin it. Jean Grey uses her telekinetics here, and so she helps all the people down here. And Iceman creates like a boat made out of ice, and the beast is super powerful during this time here. And they help all the people in aboard the ice ship, and then the X Factor ship begins to take everything here, and we get some more backstory as to what's going on, how they saved the ship, and you can see him rebuilding the pier. So, as the ship continues and everything's being recorded, Infectious looking here, and so the ship again reassures the people that they're there to help. And Infectious says they can't move him yet. And this guy next to her says, those mutants have more powers than the electric company, honey. They can do whatever they want. But tell me, sweet, why would a cute thing like you mind if they move that ship or not? And she says, because I want it. I need it. And the guy kind of goes, you need that big old ship? What would a cute little thing like you want with that big old ship? And she says, what would you do if you had all those mutant powers? And he says, why, honey, if I had their power, I'd go out there and get you that ship. And she says, you'd get me you'd get that ship for little me? Why, that's the nicest thing anybody's ever said to me all day. How would you like to come with me so we can discuss it in private? So, all right. And so they're the reporters continue. Here, is that a new costume Marvel girl? Who does your hair? Have you accepted any film roles? Will you endorse No Excuses jeans? And Cyclops whispering, and they colored the little area that normally would go toward him, and he whispers here, why are we standing here answering a lot of dumb reporters' insulting questions? Now remember, Cyclops is brooding because his kids disappeared. He found out his wife is dead for real this time. Died apparently with the X-Men, but we know that is not true because the X-Men are still alive as they were brought back after the fall of the mutants. So they are in hiding, but she doesn't have her son, and they don't know where his son is, and that mystery will remain unsolved for a little bit more time. But we will eventually find out what's happening. So, all right. Anyway, so Cyclops takes off and he goes, "We have important things to do." And he's still whispering it. So, of course, she calls out to him and she excuses and says they have a business inside. So, and then the ship basically closes and does not allow any of them inside here. And so, all right, and you can see that people are trying to get in there, and the ship, some funny stuff. The ship's holding a grudge to some of the reporters for some of the articles they wrote here. Anyway, Richter says that it's so cool. They're stuck out there, all cold and wet, and us poor rescued mutants kids are in here. And so Marvel Girl says, "Scott, what is it? What's wrong?" And he says that garbage, and Iceman and Hank still out there eating it up. And of course the kids are like, Richter says, "Scott's turning into a real grouch," and Rusty's like, "What's with him anyway?" Of course he's just moody. And so here's the Beast, and of course the Beast was when they were fighting the Horsemen of the Apocalypse, Pestilence kind of made him so he could get stronger, but the problem is the stronger he gets, the dumber he gets here. And so they're asking him all these questions, and he's like, "Oh, I don't know, this and that." He just can't say anything. And so Trish Tobies tries to stop him, and he's still holding a grudge because he thinks she told the whole world about how dumb he is. And of course, that is not what she meant to do, but that is sort of what he believes happened. And she, of course, feels terrible because that was not what she was trying to do. And she's like, "Hey, let's just go talk." And so Iceman, though, continues, he's kind of looking in there, but he continues to kind of use his powers there. So, all right. So now we go here to Infectia here with this gentleman here. It's kind of funny here. This guy identifies as from Omaha, and I live in Omaha. So he's like, "Man, these New York prices." And so Infectious kind of looking for or taking him here, and she goes into, and she's got like this full laboratory here, only in comic books. And so she puts him here and closes this kind of cage on him, and I can't believe he just walked into that. And so she uses a kiss, and of course that's how she transfers her powers. And he's like, "What have you done to me?" And you can see now all of a sudden, and she says, "Why? I just gave you what you wanted, so you can give me what I want. Honestly, why did you think I brought you here?" Of course, he had other things in mind. This is a beautiful panel here by Simonson. And so Iceman continues doing things, and look at this, Clark Kent here as one of the reporters, and they're breaking into the thing about the X-Men. Here's Maddie saying, "Found our son, I love you, goodbye." And so jerk face here, because if you remember from the very beginning how this jerk just left his wife and kids to go chase tail with Jean Grey, now feels bad. So that's good. The guilt. And so he's like, "Why do they keep playing that?" As if it's everybody's fault but his. And Marvel Girl's like, "Why do you keep listening to it? Scott, you're the one who insisted it would be safer to move the ship, and then insisted that we had to warn the city in order to avert the possible panic. So we held the stupid press conference, and when we do," and of course he shoots with his optic blast because it's not closing or opening, and he's like, "Scott, We've decided as we move the ship, we're going to search for your son. All of us together will find him. She uses her telekinetic power. So tell me, what is the matter with you?" And so Cyclops says, "Jean, we were in each other's arms, even as Madeline was dying in the battle with the X-Men." And she says, "We were what? No way, at least not quite. And Scott, you thought she was already dead, and she'd been dead for months, and she did nothing to disabuse you of the notion." BS. How about we start? It is kind of funny that she kind of takes his side with this jerk abandoned her. And anyway, he continues here. "I love you, Jean. I've loved you ever since we were kids. And now every time I look at you, it's an accusation of my guilt. Jean, he's my son, and I just found out he was alive, and I hardly know where to begin to look for him." And so, Iceman comes through. Am I a silver-tongued devil or what? And he's like, just bragging about how he was talking with the reporters and this and that, and Cyclops is just so mad here, and Scott Summers yells at him, "Oh, shut up. Ship, aren't you ready to move yet? Come on, let's get the show on the road." So, all right. And so here we are. Infectia has made all these other people, and she really wants that ship. And so, the kids are kind of going out. You can see Iceman made a bridge, and let's see which one is this? Is this Iceman? All right, everybody off. This might get dangerous. Beast, you and Trish keep those hooligans out of trouble. So must be Iceman. And so all the kids are getting out, and Beast is staying. He says, "Hey, you kids, Trish and me are going higher to watch. You want to come?" I don't know. And so everybody's out, and so here come everybody, and the ship is getting ready to move. And look at Beast climbing the building, holding. I'd be like, ah. So not for me. So, all right. And so they continue showing Madeline Pryor here. And "I wish you the best. I love you." Ha. If she loved her baby, why didn't she contact you sensibly and let you know where he is? What? Oh my God. Man. Whatever. These two deserve each other. They're horrible people. uh he could be anywhere in the world. She's such a hypocrite. She makes me sick. Oh my God. How about the jerkhead that left her here? Oh my goodness. And so, one of the things that the X-Men happen now is, I believe that they're still married. Okay. So they get married. She dies again. Cyclops hooks up with the White Queen. Cyclops does the heal. No, Jean comes back. Oh my goodness gracious. It's so convoluted. Anyway, eventually Cyclops does the heel turn. They go to Krakoa. They're back together, but she's having an affair with Wolverine, if I remember correctly, from the thing. So, there's a lot of drama between these two here. And so, so she's upset here, and look at this. And she walks off, and Iceman says something. She's like, "Oh, shut up." So now both of them had told them to shut up, and then all of a sudden she says, "Bobby, look," and here are those antibody people here, and they begin another fight. And so the antibody team. And so, all right. So you can see that they begin fighting here. Cyclops using his optic blast. And so again, we get Archangel here. And he doesn't join the X-Men. Or, sorry, he doesn't rejoin X Factor until, I believe, Inferno is when he'll rejoin. So we will have little pieces, and we'll even have a issue kind of sort of dedicated to him. But for the most part, he doesn't join X Factor for a while here. So, Angel or Archangel, I think he's just Angel at this time. Or at least that's what I don't know. I don't think they've called him Archangel yet. The ship's leaving the harbor now. Once again, X Factor is beset by villains. Unfortunately, none of them is the villain I seek. And so, nice a vertical panel. He's looking for Cameron Hodge, is who he's looking for. Though she may point the way, meaning Trish. And so, all of a sudden, Archangel grabs it here. And she's calling him Death. And he's like, as good a name as any. And she says, what do you want? He says, information. Candy Southern contacted you concerning the Wright and Cameron Hodge. What did she tell you? He asks. And she goes, none of your business. You're one of the horsemen. You helped decimate Manhattan. And he says, tell me. And so Trish says, there's nothing to tell. She said she'd learned that Hodge was linked to the unnamed anti-mutant organization. She knew more. We were supposed to meet. Then I got word that she'd gone out of town. And he says, hadn't it occurred to you that you might have fallen into the Wright's hand? And he picks her up here. Now, a coloring mistake. They colored the hand the same as the uniform. I never understood why they don't fix things in a digital. Maybe they didn't notice, but anyway, Beast goes, stop, as he's coming up. What are you doing? You're hurting Trish when you ought to be. He's like, what? And then he aims his knives at the Beast here. And she goes, he's not moving. What have you done, you monster? And the Beast is like, it's okay, poison on wing knives, only cut a little. And she says, all right, I'll tell you what I know. It's easy enough to find out. Just leave him alone. I followed up on Cameron Hodge. There was a plane crash in the North Atlantic. He was reported killed. That was in New Mutants 59, which I quit covering New Mutants after Chris Claremont left. So, Angel says, crashes can be faked, though it would have an ironic symmetry, wouldn't it, Miss Toby? Of course, they're talking about his attempted suicide. So, all right. And B says, pretty dumb of me jumping that guy with my bare hands. And Trish says, if you're dumb, then the rest of the world should try it for a while. You should have seen me when I was smart. And so Beast continues, talk about dumb and all the excitement. We forgot about the ship. And so, Infectia is looking and she goes, it's going to be mine. I just know it. Ah, no. Don't gently. I want to own a ship, you fools, not a pile of scraps. And of course, boom. And so, Marvel Girl is thinking here, Scott's fight now on automatic. He's fine. The perfect warrior. Trained, twisted by Xavier's ambitions. Scott was an orphan, lost his family, never learned. No one ever taught him to be close. They taught him to fight. And so she continues here. So what's my excuse? I used to be a telepath. I could see inside everyone could see the real Scott. So why did I attack him, berate him? I act as bad as Madeline did. Oh my goodness. Why is Simonson, a woman, writing her like this? If anything, she should be a little bit more sympathetic to the fact that bastard betrayed his wife. And so um, Iceman says, "Would you look at them, psych dressed for success monsters? Who the heck are these guys?" And so um, we get a little bit more of a fight here. We're gonna just narrate this here. Um, Iceman puts a sliver of, well, more than a sliver of ice between him, Cyclops, and this monster. The monster smashes it, and he gets Cyclops out of the way, but the dude breaks his slide, and of course, uh, Marvel Girl yells, "Cyclops, no! Get away from him!" And of course, she thinks here Scott's miserable with reason. His son could be anywhere in the hands of guys like this. Poor little guy. He's what's important. When I returned to life, a surprise resurrection after so many lost years, he was drawn to me. His first, his oldest love, and Madeline didn't even fight to keep him. Oh my God! What the heck? Here's the thing. I understand the writers, but the writers know already what has happened, and I don't know why they're retconning it like that. It just seems silly. I don't know. I disagree, but hey, um, I would have fought. I'm Xavier's construct too, and I know Scott's value. Scott tried to go back to her, did what was right. Yeah, after months. Goodness gracious, let's not. Oh my goodness. Found evidence they were dead and nearly went mad. Was mad at me. Oh, sorry. I was mad for a time, and so you can see picking this guy up and then letting him go. And where was Madeline? Adventuring with the X-Men? No, not quite. She was not only was she abandoned, but the if you want to go through my playlist, you sure can. But the Marauders were trying to kill her, so that's not exactly it. She could have called, let him know, but she left the man she loves to be driven mad by faked evidence. Planted by who? By villains like these monsters. I'm starting to hate this, she continues thinking, as her powers are just going crazy. And then, of course, these people kind of burn their power here, and she's like, oh, darn. And so Jean feels bad. She feels like she killed him. Cyclops explained they didn't. And so they make up. She's like, oh, Scott, you're a wonderful man, the best. If you listen to my first videos on X Factor, you'll see that I disagree, but that's all right. Anyway, so they make up and they're like, I'll help you find the kid, and he's crying too. You can see like a teardrop as they're picking him, and Infectia gets an idea. Instead of using normal people, she's gonna use Iceman, and so she's gonna use Iceman to get her ship. So next, the dating game or kiss of death. And so here we go. X Factor 29 by Louise Simonson and Walter Simonson with Bob Wiacek. Like and subscribe. I do thank you so much for listening. Goodbye.